we just want to welcome back to our most populous feature of the program, and that is a bit of motivation by my friend Miguel Melbourne. I want to welcome him now to the Fact and Matter. Good evening, Miguel.
Erwin, I
Erwin, I
appreciate that.
appreciate that.
It's always
It's
trying to
always
make
trying
you
to make you
proud,
proud, you
You mean by cutting here, by you follow back on me.
Yeah, it's an exclusive club.
All right,
But
so
hello. A higher good evening to you, Erwin, and a higher good evening to our distinguished listeners wherever in the world you're tuning in from. We thank you. My name is Miguel Anthony Melbourne. This week on Melbourne Motivation, my guest is a dynamic young lady who's actively helping to lead the charge in building a bridge to connect Jamaican young people across the globe. Let me tell you a little bit more. Asha Richards is the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council regional leader for the Northeast USA. As the daughter of Jamaican immigrants, she has a very strong connection to her roots. Asha also has a specific interest in various Caribbean and African cultures. In 2017, she started her college journey at Virginia Wesleyan University. There, she served as president and co-founder of the Caribbean Student Association and took the opportunity to study abroad in Ghana. Currently, Asha is pursuing her master's degree at Columbia University School of International and Public Affairs. With her degree, she aspires to advocate and assist in the development of countries in Sub-Saharan Africa and the Caribbean. She notes specifically, I want to explore and create policies that will bridge inequality and significantly improve the lives of everyday people in these regions. And so, with that, I say, Asha, welcome to Melbourne Motivation. How are you feeling today?
Good evening, Miguel. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm feeling amazing.
Hello, there we go. It's absolute pleasure. Now, Asha, I'm excited for this conversation because one of the long-standing questions has always been whether the gifts, the talents, the education of Jamaicans abroad is being directed back to uplift the country. But I want to start here. Where in Jamaica does your roots spring from, and have your culture played any role in influencing the career path you're currently pursuing?
Okay, so starting with myself, I was born and raised in Silver Spring, Maryland. As of right now, I reside in New York, but I'm here for school, as you mentioned earlier. Both of my parents are Jamaican. My mother was born in Westmoreland, and my father was born in Saint Anne, but my mom kind of grew up around the island, really. So with that, my roots have definitely made a major impact on me and what I want to do. My mom definitely made an effort to make sure that, well, not just my mom. I live with my mom, Marcia Richards, my aunt, Yasmin Richards, my uncle, Joshua Bonner, big ups to them.
Yeah,
But
man.
always, always making sure that I kept in touch with my Jamaican culture. And even when I was younger, whenever anybody was going to Jamaica, I was going with them. So I would go down all the time. I actually just recently came back in January. So that was always instilled in me to have the Jamaican culture, the Jamaican background, and never forget my roots. And in regards to what I'm doing now, staying with family and going all across the island. And, um, I come from humble beginnings in the US. And even so, I have family members that, are doing the best that they can with what they have, you know? And at the back of my mind, I still have this belief that, we can do so much better. And for an island that I love and consider my second home, I want to be able to go back and help, as the saying goes, to who much is given, much is expected. So that's part of why I am doing what I would like to do. I come from a strong lineage of strong strong people. So being able to do that for Jamaica and the rest of the Jamaican diaspora, the Caribbean, and Sub-Saharan Africa would mean the world to me.
Absolutely. Wherever, literally anywhere you find Caribbean and particularly Jamaican folks, you always hear this hint of looking to make an impact. And I absolutely love that. And so definitely thanks for sharing that. I definitely want to zero in, and I think one of the coolest opportunities any college student can take advantage of, and that is doing a study abroad program. And you did one. You chose to go to Ghana, the motherland, back home. Can you just take us into that experience? And you also did some research on the link between Jamaica and Ghana. Are there any key takeaways, any favorite moments, anything surprised you from that experience?
Yes. First of all, for those that don't might not know, a study abroad is basically when you decide to take courses or do a certain program in a different country. For me, I ended up going to Ghana through the School of International Training. Shout out to Dr. O, Nana Ama, Miss Ama, RIP to Papata. But it was an amazing experience being in Ghana because the program that I was in was very much into experiential learning. And as such, there was an emphasis of going around. My first month, we were in Accra, but we did have excursions to different places and organizations that were based in Accra. The second month, we were actually traveling. So I went to Kumasi, Tamale, Cape Coast. I was staying in a village for a week in Patakro. And honestly, it was an amazing experience. I would have spent another month, but COVID unfortunately cut that short. And in regard to your question, what did I take away from that experience? First of all, there are so many linkages between Ghana and Jamaica. And honestly, Ghanaians love Jamaicans.
I love,
No,
love.
no joke, no lie. Like you'll see a Jamaican flag almost everywhere. But
Wow.
but one thing that really stood out to me is the fact that, a lot of Jamaicans can trace their ancestry back to Ghana, which is part of why I chose to go there. But and as such, our culture is highly impacted by them. And that's something that I noticed, when I was in Patagro hearing Anansi stories.
Wow.
And um, they have this food called wache, which is very similar to our rice and peas, and so many different little intricacies. And it's like, oh, wow, this is just like Jamaica and things like that. Even driving on the road, people on the roadside selling what they're trying to sell, wiping the windscreen. Sometimes it reminds me of certain areas in Jamaica as well. But what really stood out to me is the fact that the same way Ghana has influenced Jamaica, Jamaican culture, which again might not be such a surprise because, little but we tell our Jamaica to the world. I'm sure you guys were just talking about the Grammys. We have a whole reggae genre in the Grammys. Which other country has been able to do something like that? But it's very impactful to me to know that aspects of Jamaican culture and Jamaica itself has impacted Ghana as well, that kind of symbiotic relationship.
Wow.
Um, first of all, the impact of reggae music is huge. It's permeated throughout the culture, but also I remember there was something about a form of dance and a type of drum,
Hmm.
which actually, interestingly enough, it was Jamaicans, specifically, well, a bit of history. The British were trying to fight, they were in a war with the Ashanti people. And being the British, they brought in Jamaican and Trinidadian people to fight for them. And they had a particular way of beating their drum in a syncopated way, and that actually transferred over to to Ghana. And some of the modern music that you hear is actually derived from that, and I found that so fascinating.
I mean, Asha, you touched on something great, and I think for all of us, whether we're in Jamaica, whether it's the government, whether we're abroad, we're st- we're still, I think, figuring out how to utilize this country and culture that we have. And so you touched on something very great. We are expecting that, yes, Jamaica, we're influenced by our ancestry in Ghana, but you just said something critical. You went and experienced that Jamaica is also having a return impact. And that is, it's profound. Thank you for sharing that experience. And most of us may or may never go, but thank you for sharing that. What I do want to touch on, right now, you are the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council Northeast Regional Lead. For anyone not familiar, just put simply for us, what is the GJDYC, and can you just put into scope for our listeners, what is your vision for the organization, and what are some of the outcomes that you think this organization can have for the country and for the people?
Okay, so the GJDYC, or Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council, well, is the youth version of the GJDC, the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council. So our group is 35, ages 35 and under, and it was established with the Jamaican government, specifically the Commission of Foreign Trade and Foreign Service, and it's basically a way to engage the diaspora. First of all, to engage them with the government and just engage them with the country itself. And part of what I envision GJDYC to be and hopefully do moving forward is, one thing that I know is a lot of Jamaicans in the diaspora have a love for Jamaica. Even though they don't live there, they love it. And many plan to go back, want to go back, and would love to impact in whatever way that they can, you know? And especially for people like me, that's actually generation Jamaican. Sometimes we don't necessarily know the avenues or the way in which to do that. Or, if we are here, one person can do so much. But with organizations like GJDYC and GJDC, you can come together as a collective. One, you have a community of like-minded people of similar heritage, one big happy family. That's what I try and do with the Northeast region specifically. But, a group that's there to share resources, share opportunities, but also to find a way to collectively help Jamaica in whichever way that we can. Traditionally, in regards to assisting Jamaica, we've been seen more so as a group to send remittances back home, which is very important. But at the same time, I feel like the diaspora can do so much more and can be leveraged so much more in the development of Jamaica. And hopefully, through my position and the group, we can do that more.
Absolutely. I really appreciate that. As I mentioned, I remember being back in corporate, and the prime minister came back in 2015, and that was one of his big missions. How do we connect Jamaica to the diaspora? And so not many people may be familiar with this organization. Folks, I definitely want you to reach out to Asha if you're interested. This is a group I am definitely a part of. But Asha, as we wrap up, I do want to thank you for the work you're doing, as well as all the other leaders, right? The truth is that leadership takes courage. Courage becomes contagious once we start to unite around a common goal. So definitely keep it going. Can you just tell us quickly, how can folks reach out to you? How can folks connect, learn more, right? And to become a part of this global JA youth? How can they get in touch with you?
Well, first of all, to get in touch with me personally, you can always reach out to me via email, which is Asha, ASHAJ, Rich, RICH, at gmail.com. And to become a member of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council, you can follow us on Instagram at Global JA Youth on Instagram, I believe. Yes, and we do have a Twitter, I think. Yes. You can follow us there, and also you can go on the website, and on the website you can sign up for membership. So anybody in the Northeast or anybody that just wants to know more about us, you can definitely check up the website. or social media.
Fantastic. I appreciate that. We're going to have to leave it there. Asha, thank you so much, right, for telling us a little bit about your story and some of the leadership roles that you are playing in our diaspora. Erwin.
Indeed. And truth be told, Asha, I'm from St. Anne, and my mother is Richards. Truth be told, I'm a former advisory board member, so I'm quite familiar with the youth component because that was something we pushed back in the day. And truth be told, too, that we were there in the initial stages, and to see young people like yourself involved in it is of significance. I think our leaders now must stop the talking and start doing the walking. In other words, ensuring that people like yourself, second generation Jamaicans, be accorded the opportunity to be further engaged. Because if, like myself and Miguel, we were born in Jamaica, so we our navel string down there. All right, but my children were not, and though they are Jamaican like me, there must be additional incentives and opportunities and outreach made if we are to maintain and sustain significant diaspora relationships. It can't just be that we love Jamaica and that's it. I love Ghana too. But congratulations on what you're doing, and I'm quite impressed. And I know that we're probably related. So.
All right, thank you so much.
And thank you. Miguel, share with us how people can connect and maintain the connection with you, sir.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen, as I hope you enjoyed this presentation of Melbourne Motivation. Want you to know my personal and professional goals are to help the youth be best prepared for college, career, and beyond so that we can have more Ashas out there. I want you to visit pathwaytopurposenyc.com. Use the code IRIE, IRIE, for a discount when purchasing our college study flashcards. Follow Melbourne Motivation, Facebook, Instagram, right, YouTube. But until next time, please be safe and live with big energy. Erwin, catch you next week.
All the best to you. Stay safe and best of luck. Best of wishes, rather, Asha.
Thank
There
you.
you have it.